Welcome back to Journey of Truths. I'm Kimberly Janelle. Today's episode is deeply personal for me, and it's about a topic I know too well: grief. Many of you don't know I lost my middle son, Samad, to gun violence in 2019, December 31st, 2019 to be exact. He was 19 years old and murdered in the town that we live in by 5 people who knew and went to school with him. It's a loss that changed my life in so many ways I never expected. Today I want to share a bit of that journey with you and talk about what it's taught me about vulnerability, self-love, and finding a way forward even when life feels unthinkably hard. If you're listening and you're going through your own grief, or if you've experienced loss in the past, I hope this conversation helps you feel less alone. Healing is a long and winding road, but sharing our experiences, we can find strength together. When I lost Samad, it was as if the ground disappeared from beneath me. There's a grief that cuts so deep it feels impossible to put into words. And losing a child is one of those. The world didn't feel the same anymore. And for a long time, I didn't know how to exist in it without him. I had to learn how to live with this pain. To allow it space in my life. There's no easy way to face something like this. But I found that being honest with myself about the depth of my grief was the first step. Instead of pushing it down or trying to get over it, I let myself feel every bit of it. And that honesty became the foundation for my healing. If you're grieving, I encourage you to let yourself feel it fully. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. Let yourself cry. Let yourself miss them. And know that it's okay to feel the weight of their absence. I used to think that being vulnerable meant showing weakness. But after Samad's passing, I realized vulnerability is one of the strongest things we can offer ourselves. I knew I couldn't carry this grief alone, and by opening up about it, I found connection with others who understood my pain. Sharing my story was difficult at first, but as I did, I discovered how much healing can come from simply being heard. There's power in letting ourselves be seen, especially in our moments of heartache. Vulnerability doesn't lessen the pain, but it brings us closer to the truth of our experience. If you're carrying your own loss, consider letting someone in, whether it's a friend, family member, or support group. Being vulnerable creates a safe space for healing. You don't have to have it all together. Just showing up as you are is enough. Through the depths of my grief, I had to learn how to love myself again. There were days when I felt like I had nothing left, like I couldn't move forward, but each time I showed myself a little compassion. I found a little bit of strength. Self-love became my lifeline. It wasn't about trying to feel good or pretending the pain wasn't there. It was about honoring my own resilience and allowing myself to rest when I needed to. In moments of guilt or sadness, I would remind myself that I was doing my best to navigate a situation no one should ever have to face. Self-love and grief is a gentle practice. It might look like forgiving yourself for not being okay, giving yourself permission to have hard days, or even just taking a few moments to breathe deeply. Grief doesn't mean we're broken. It means we're human. I found some practices that help me reconnect with myself and bring moments of peace even in the middle of the storm. These weren't solutions, but they became ways to nurture my spirit and honor Samad's memory. I created a memorial space at home, a small area in my home that's dedicated to Samad. I keep a photo there. I keep his graduation photo from high school. He graduated in 2018. I have 2 candles there, one on each side of his picture, and other meaningful items there around this space. It's my altar, my safe space where I honor him. And this is a place where I can sit and reflect and feel close to him and think about the memories that we shared together. It reminds me that he's still a part of my life and my heart. He's not here physically, but mentally, he's here. He's with me in spirit in everything that I do. I do grounding practices. When my grief feels overwhelming, grounding exercises help me stay connected to the present. Sometimes it's as simple as placing my hands on my heart or taking deep breaths. Feeling my own heartbeat reminded me that I was still here, still alive, and that there was more for me to experience and learn. Spending time in nature. Being being in nature became a form of meditation for me. Walking outside, feeling the sun or the wind. I always feel the wind when I visit his gravesite, so I feel like that's him letting me know that he's here with me. Listening to the sounds around me. It all reminded me of the cycles of life and death. Nature has a way of showing us that life moves forward, that growth and renewal are possible, even after loss. Samad's memory is something I carry with me every day. His life and his spirit have inspired so much of the work that I do now, especially with my nonprofit, One Family, One Fight. Honoring him has given my grief a purpose. It's my way of keeping his light alive, of ensuring that his story brings hope and support to others. If you're listening and wondering how to move forward, I want you to know that there's no timeline for grief. Moving forward doesn't mean forgetting or moving on. It means finding a way to carry our loved ones with us as we continue living. In honoring Samad, I found a way to keep loving, keep fighting, and to keep healing. That's what I wish for you too. That through your pain, you find a way to keep your loved ones light sharing. Grief, vulnerability, and self-love. They are all parts of this journey that no one wants to take, but that so many of us find ourselves on. If you're here, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'm walking this path with you, and there is a way through, even if it looks different for each of us. Take your time, honor your journey, and know that every tear, every memory, every act of kindness towards yourself is part of your healing. Samad's memory is a reminder that love transcends loss. And I hope that in sharing my story, you find strength to keep going on yours. Thank you for being here with me today on Journey of Truths. Until next time, take gentle care of your heart and remember that love in all its forms is what sustains us.